it doesn't really matter whether end user is coming in to get that information, right? That needs to be one place where that is stored. And that's where headless really comes in.
This is Velocitize Talks, and I'm Lauren Cox. Today I'm joined by Jerome Tam, co-founder and director of Rush Hour Digital. So happy to have you here, Jerome. Thanks for seeing us again. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having us here again. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's get started and tell me a little bit about Rush Hour Digital and what makes it so different in the marketplace.
Of course. So Rush Hour Digital, at the core, we're a digital agency and consultancy. We work with a lot of different brands across the different segment of markets in Hong Kong and Australia as well, and sometimes markets beyond that. What really sets us apart is that we started about a decade ago, where responsive websites really became more and more of a thing, and we are really a digital first business where this is where our root lies. We're not coming in from like other discipline in design or other discipline in terms of communication, etc. It's very much in our DNA. And, I think what been kind of allow us to have some level of success over the last decade is that we really focus on our talent pool people, because ultimately, we need to cultivate a great culture and a good bunch of people, be it designers and developers, etc., to really, provide good products or deliver good products for our clients. And I think another thing is that, we've always seen no challenge is too big. We definitely taken on projects that are a bit beyond our reach at a time, but through perseverance and hard work, we've always got through it and delivered a great world-class product for our clients.
So Rush Hour Digital was Rush Hour Media previously, and you went through a rebranding exercise. Can you tell me, with corporate branding, what really sets it apart for different audiences and what works well?
For us, right, the word media was something that we decided a decade ago, and truth is, as we mature as a business, our positioning has always been digital, and that's always been our focus. And so the word media really was confusing, and it's something that, to be very honest, has been on our pipeline for a long time. And COVID had given us a little bit of room to focus on ourselves. And in terms of I think branding, be it on a visual level or a communication level, really is about authenticity and kind of like really showing who you are and what you are there to provide for your clients or your consumer if you're B2C brand. So for us, it's the rebrand exercise is very much about showcasing who we really are and really modernizing and bringing the audience up to speed as to who we are today, as opposed to who we were, a few years ago. And then in terms of for clients, we preach this all the time to the clients that we work with. We try to work with them to find out, what sets them apart, what really make them special, and we try to most effectively communicate that piece of the corporate spirit.
So from a content strategy, then, a headless architecture, a WordPress headless architecture, is a big point of conversation at the moment. And so can you tell me if you've been using it with your clients and if it's living up to the hype?
Yes. So we've built quite a number of large platforms using Angular and then the various CMS, WordPress included, as the backend. Now we've transitioned to be more Next.js. We really like the performance boost that it gives. I mean, we love WordPress and it has a lot of benefits, but performance sometimes can be slow down a little bit when it comes to especially a site with a lot of pages or a lot of content, and large sites or large sites with a lot of different functionalities. So we really like it because it allows our team to use kind of more cutting edge front end technology for starters, and second of all, end users get a huge performance bonus or improvement in terms of page load speed. We very much converted advocates of the headless approach. It takes more time. It takes a bit of education to our clients to say why the budget is bigger than previously. But I think that ultimately the end product is a lot better in terms of speed, performances, and especially if you have a lot of content that require, updating without the page needing upload and things like that, where out of the box, approach can't quite do.
So that kind of leads me. So there's some extra development time, probably resources in headless. So what would be your advice to SMBs or at the moment, or your clients at the moment, that where they should be spending their money? Where would it best where's the best use of their money, time, and investment in their digital presence?
I think again, like that really depends on who you are and what you do, right? I mean, for consumer brands, as long as your landing pages or even e-commerce, right? Obviously, your digital experience in terms of the checkout process, the transaction process needs to be as efficient as possible, as few clicks as possible, and accept as many payment gateways as possible, right? But if you are a more of a service brand, right, I think the content or the aesthetics of your brand and whether that resonates to your end audience is probably more important. And ultimately, I think the money should go where it probably drives the most impact. If you're really trying to do a brand setting exercise, maybe the web or the applications might be where you should be spending the money. But if you're more about driving sales, maybe especially if you're a consumer brand or like a B2C brand, where scattering a lot of Instagram ads and Facebook ads probably going to get you more results.
So people have predicted the end of websites, that they'll be replaced by apps. I was wondering what your thoughts were around that, as we see CMS adoption still rising. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Well, we do both website and apps, so I'm not biased in that sense. But I think people have been talking about it for a long time, where apps could replace websites, etc. But I think especially information, when you just Google searching a company, etc., the website is still the most direct, the easiest way for consumers and end users to find information. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. There are obviously clear SEO benefits, being found by Google and maybe other search engine that is active in your region is by far one of the most important piece of any business nowadays, being on the first couple of pages of Google. Ideally the first, right? But the first couple, like even the first few search results is going to make a huge difference to your business, right? And so that is, on its own, a huge benefit of having a website being, on search engines where, applications in general are not. And also another thing that we're doing a lot now is, like you said about headless earlier, especially for applications, we have a lot of, let's say, user account pages and things like that, where be it served via the iOS app, Android app, or like we've started doing some Google TV apps and stuff like that, where it doesn't really matter where the end user is coming in to get that information, right? That needs to be one place where that is stored. And that's where headless really comes in, or having a CMS comes in, right? Where all this information can be centrally in one place. And no matter what device your user is accessing it from, it all comes from the same place, same database, and same information.
So it seems like Rush Hour Digital is working with customers across platforms. And so how do you really keep that consistency through digital transformation across different platforms for your clients?
Yes, we do a lot of various sizes and scale projects in terms of digital transformation. For example, like on a smaller scale, we're helping Hong Kong Jockey Club's particular business units to kind of do a feasibility study on a platform that digitizes their some of the functions that are done by other means currently. All the way to, we work with a French TV channel where, they just did a rebranding exercise and all they gave us was a logo. And we had to, build out their digital or their whole entire digital channels, where that consisted of the website, the iOS side, Android side, as well as the Google TV. And now we have other channels that are in the pipeline as well. And the thing to keep all of these projects or these varying level degree of digital transformation projects is really about setting a goal and objectives at the very beginning. And for us, that usually comes at the end of the discovery phase, where we have this discovery playback deck, where we have all the objectives and all the mission for the project outlined. This is really served to also present to senior executives of the firm, so that everyone is on the same page of what the project and what the exercise is. So any conversation, be it internally or with us, any feedback, any suggestions, we can have one centralized document that we go back to and say, well, does this comment or does this suggestion revolve around the objectives and the missions that we're trying to accomplish here? And I think that help us steer the conversation and the project's momentum forward, because everyone is has agreed from day one, or as early the day one as possible, what the project is really about. Because otherwise, some of these projects are anywhere between 3 to 12 months, maybe more period, right? And sometimes especially when personnel change, etc., people coming in with a fresh perspective, which is often great, but at the same time, we need some way of formalizing the whole thing and having we call it effectively a benchmark to measure against over time, whether these decisions that we are making as an agency or the client's making internally, does it serve the purpose or the mission that we set out to do?
So I love to finish the interview with a question around motivation. So what really gets you up in the morning? Is it a specific trend that's happening right now? Is it music? Is it a podcast? Is it, your family? I'd love to know.
Yeah, the family for sure. I have a young daughter, and we're the second one on the way. So after a stressful day, having a hang out with the family, and my wife included, definitely take that stress away a bit. Especially after 2 years or 3 years of COVID, we seem to be coming out of it a little bit now in Hong Kong, but it still be very much of a first of mind type scenario, right? And one, yeah, sorry.
No, I was just going to say congratulations. So keep going.
Thank you. But like in terms of like the work aspect, as devastating COVID has brought to like the Hong Kong and many other economies, but at the same time, I think it's a very interesting position of where we are in terms of A, survived, and B, I think the opportunities that it brings in terms of like this, almost soft restart in how people approach not only the work from home culture, how they interact with agencies, and how the whole landscape has kind of reshifted or reset a little bit. I think we have the long enough experience and the client base to have weathered the storm, and now is quite exciting of seeing where we could be in the next 5 years because of this reshuffle. So that's in a lot of ways very exciting. We also quite big on we haven't worked with that many kind of like Web3 or blockchain businesses yet. But we're a lot ambitious to kind of like to explore more on that direction as well. We work with fintech companies and a lot of financial institutions in Hong Kong and Asia. But we started doing a one project for Animoca brands. They own a lot of play to earn models, crypto, blockchain projects. The prospects of Web3, NFT beyond the current use of the NFT. I think it's very interesting. Is it going to be, expensive arts for the entire ecosystem? Probably not. I think there's a lot of application that it can be used for down the road. And we're very much trying to explore some of those opportunities and partners and people that we can work with to expand our level of expertise in that field as well.
Well, thank you so much, Jerome. That was Jerome Tam from Rush Hour Digital. Thank you.